Hi book lovers, it's Jenny at Julia Baby Jen's Reading Room, and this is my book haul for the end of March.
I'll get you through it nice and slow when the world's spinning out of control.
Alright, so in the last 2 weeks I've gotten 4 books! Woohoo! I haven't gotten very many books at all. I bought some Kindle books, but I keep forgetting to print off my list so I can share that with you. So next time I do one, I'll have a whole long Kindle list to share with you. Anyway, I found 3 of these books at the thrift store, at Goodwill, and 1 I ordered and came in the mail. It'll be a quick video, but I just thought I would do one really quick. So, first thing I found at Goodwill, and by the way, books at Goodwill are super cheap. It's 89 cents for a paperback and $1.50 for a hardback, which is really inexpensive if you can find books that you want to read or that are collector's books. Sometimes you can find really cool books. And this is one of them. This is My Antonia by Willa Cather, and this is actually one of my favorite books, favorite classics. I have a copy of this already, but it's in an old, like, school type book, those hard little books type of thing. So this one is really cool. It's like kind of like almost a fabric paperback, which is really nice. So, and it's a little bit older, but it's in pretty good shape. So I was happy to grab this. My Antonia, if you've never read it, this is considered Willa Cather's best work. I have not read anything else by her yet, and the reason being because a lot of people told me if you read this book and loved it, the other books will probably disappoint you. So I haven't read any others. I might at some point. This one is, it's basically she writes about pioneer life when America was first founded in the Midwest. She's from Nebraska, so her story will take place in Nebraska. So it's all about the plains and the pioneers kind of a thing. So it's very historical. This book, I think his name is Jim. Alright, so the main character that the point of view the story is told from is from Jim. And it's looking back at his childhood. So he's a grown-up now and he's thinking back on his childhood. And Antonia was his childhood sweetheart, so to speak. They were friends growing up and he kind of was in love with her. And they grew up and became very different things. He was very intelligent and he had a little better start in life, I guess. His parents had a little more money. Or was his grandparents that raised him? I can't remember. But he went to college, which was, you know, this takes place in like the 1860s or 70s or 50s or in the 1800s. So going to college was not a guaranteed thing back then. So going to college is considered really good. And he became a writer. And so this is his looking back. This is fictional. Antonia was the daughter of immigrants, and they were a lot poorer than his family, and she didn't have as great a start, and she basically just kind of stayed as a farmer's wife her entire life with lots of children. And so he kind of, in a way, in his memory, almost looks down on her a bit because he's became something of himself, and she really, in his eyes, did not. And so this is his childhood memories looking back on it when they grew up, and at the very end, he's actually on a train on his way to go visit her at her farm. She invited him, or somehow he's going to visit her, and he hasn't seen her in like, I don't know, 20 years. It's been a long time. And so he's going to see her. And so the last part of the book is their actual meeting and him seeing what her life is actually like. And it's actually, it's so funny because the whole book sets you up for her life is awful, and her childhood was horrible. But her life is awful. She never made anything of it. He feels sorry for her, and, you know, to each his own, basically, is what the end is telling you. So it's really interesting. I really enjoyed it. And the stories, it's kind of like any old classic story, like Anne of Green Gables or Little Women or Laura Ingalls Wilder. Those kind of old pioneer stories, except this one is a little more stark reality type of story. So it doesn't sugarcoat things, I don't think. And I really liked that in her stories, because a lot of pioneer authors, you know, they tell you about the bad things. They show you what it's like, but they almost kind of sugarcoat it a little bit, and so it feels like, oh, it's this beautiful time, and And it really wasn't. It was a hard life. So I just really enjoy this story. So I was really happy I found this edition. Alright, the next one I found was Atonement by Ian McEwan, which I have not read, and it's been on my to-be-read list for a really long time. And this was a pretty good hardback edition of it, so I thought I would read it. And I kind of know what it's about, but I'm not going to go over it. Most of you probably have either read it or know. This one I was thrilled to get. I always love when I find a YA, especially a newer YA. Invisibility by Andrea Kramer and David Leviathan. Which I've heard is not the best. I haven't heard great things about this book, but I did really want to read it because it has two of my favorite authors who wrote it. I wasn't going to go buy it brand new, but for $1.50 at Goodwill, I will buy it and read it. So, yeah, I was pretty happy to get that. So that was my book haul from Goodwill. They didn't have a ton of books this time, but I was happy with what I got. And then the book that I ordered was Dark Triumph by Robin Lefevers. I just finished Grave Mercy, which has been sitting on my bookshelf since it came out, probably like 2 years ago almost. And I finally read it, and I really loved it. I knew I would. It just took me a while to get to it, and it was a big book. So I went ahead and ordered the sequel because I knew I was going to want to have it for my shelves. And so I can't wait to read this one. This one is a lot smaller than the other one, so... but I've heard it's good, so I'm excited to read it. And that's my book haul for the end of March. So not a lot that I got in the last 2 weeks, but I'm excited with what I did get. Leave any comments below if you read any of these or your thoughts. And I hope everyone has a good weekend. I will talk to you later. Bye.
I'll get it if you need it. I'll search if you don't see